Hi, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the hands-on training session on Spark AR. Today we have with us Ms. Rupal Mittal. Rupal is the campus ambassador at Facebook Spark AR and she will be teaching you how to build your AR effects on Spark AR. I hope all of you have downloaded Spark AR Studio and are ready with your laptops. You can keep building your AR effects along with the workshop in the Google form and submit your AR effects at the end of the workshop in the Google form which is shared with you. We'll also share the submission link in the comment section. Everyone who submits an AR effect will receive a backpack and a certificate from Facebook Spark AR. So don't miss this opportunity and submit your AR effects today. Now, without any further delay, let's start the workshop. Over to you, Rupal.
Hello everyone. Hi Ankar.
Just
Thank
a
you for the
second, Rupal.
introduction.
So, Dr. Pankaj Vaidya has also joined us. Hello, sir.
Hello, very good afternoon to all the participants and Azhar and Rupal. Oh, sorry,
Hello sir.
Mr. Khan.
Yes, sir. Sir, if you can address the participants and tell them what the workshop is about and encourage them to build their AR effects.
So, dear students, I always told you that a journey of 1,000 miles start with a one single step. So, maybe this is the first step towards your augmented reality. You will be mainly working on different fields in computer science, but maybe this workshop is the touch point where you change all your thoughts and beliefs and start working on augmented reality. If you didn't like it, even then, you have one more field to explore, one more area to know. And when such opportunities are there, you must avail it and do your best to do your best to submit your projects well in time and take it seriously little bit. I know after lockdown, everyone is at home, working from home. So there is a lack of competition among students, but these platforms provide you to increase your skill, develop your skill, and have a competition feeling between you and your friends. So I won't take much time. I wish you all the participants best of luck. Do your best and submit your projects well in time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, without any further delay, let's start the workshop. Over to you, Rupal.
Thank you, Oscar. Hello everyone. I'm Rupal Mittal, campus leader from Reskill and Spark AR by Meta. Today I'm going to guide you guys on basically how to get started with Spark AR Studio and make your first AR effects. So I'm going to start with talking about what Spark AR Studio is and what it is used for. So I would say it is basically an augmented reality platform for Mac and Windows that helps make the process of developing interactive augmented reality apps and effects more accessible with or without code. So it includes access to an online library of 3D objects, animations, and interaction templates that make it quick for prototyping scenes. So you can basically build your the filters that you use on Instagram and Facebook. You can build those filters and publish them to be used by audience worldwide on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. So the tool is very user friendly, and to get started with it, you don't need to have prior coding knowledge, but yeah, it has a lot of features and capabilities which make it an amazing platform to work with while developing augmented reality experiences. So that's just a brief about what Spark AR Studio is. And now, without any further ado, let's get started with the hands-on session. So I'll be just demonstrating from the start, like when you open Spark AR, what all comes up and what are the features, what are the capabilities. So yeah, I'll just reiterate, if you haven't downloaded Spark AR Studio, we'll just share the download link in the chat box, and you can put it on download as I speak. I'll just share my screen. So in the meanwhile, Askan, you can just share the download link. Just give me a moment. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Rupal.
Thank you. So this is the first window that comes up when you open Spark AI Studio. So here on my screen, you can see you have an option to start with a blank project, or you can have sharing experiences or video call experience, which means that the filter you build. So you want users to just click a photo and use it and share it, or whether you want them so that they can use it while they are video calling. So these are the two experiences that you can build your filters for. These are certain predefined templates. You can see there are a lot of predefined templates here. So if you're a beginner, you can just start with a predefined template and build your effects, just show your creativity, add objects and stuff. We'll be talking about it. I'll be starting with a blank project so that I can just demonstrate what all do we have while we open our first screen. So while we open a blank project, so this is the window that comes up. So right in the middle of my screen, you can see this very is the viewport. Like whatever you add, like whatever components you add, so it is visible on the viewport. Like if I click on device, so you can see these blue lines. Whatever feature I click on, so this get highlighted. Is this visible? Like these are the lights. If I click on ambient light or direction lights, so these arrows, the very component is highlighted in the viewport. So this is about the viewport. The phone like structure right here, where you can see this is the simulator. So it will show you, like when you are building your effect, how it will appear on the user's phone, mobile devices. So this is the simulator right here. The next up we have in the left panel. In the left panel is the scene. So what is basically scene? It shows all the components. We'll talk about what objects are and what components we can add up here in the scene. So we'll be talking about that. In the right panel, you can see in the right panel right here, make it more visible. So these are the properties. So whatever I click on scene here, the properties corresponding to that very component will be shown in the right panel. So the left panel is the scene, the right panel is the properties for that very component. So these are the two things. If I say click on microphones, then these are the properties that we have related to microphones. So by default the mic is enabled, but if you want to like disable the mic, if you want that when the user is say recording a video, you don't want user to record their audio as well. So even if they speak, the audio won't be recorded. So that is done by disabling the mic. So, by default it's enabled, so I'll keep it as it is. I'll just be demonstrating what all we have right here on our screens so that we get a little familiar with the software here. Again, next up, okay, so the right and the left panel are clear, right? If you have any guys, if you have any doubts, so you can just post it in the chat box, and we can take it at the end of the session in the Q&A. So the next up we have is the asset panel. So on my left, the bottom left, we have the assets panel. So what asset panel is, like assets are all the resources, like the textures and materials that we put in our effect. So if say I'm adding maybe a background, and the image that I want to add in our background is basically a texture, so that is added in the assets section. In the asset section, we have two ways to insert these textures, or maybe audio files, or any sort of files that we are using in our effects. So we can import it from our local system. We can just import from here, or you can use the asset library. So I'll show you what asset library here is. Like we'll click on from here itself. You can also get the asset library from here. This is like the test on device. We'll talk about it when we'll actually publish an effect. We'll make an effect and publish it. So I'll discuss about test on device button and the publish button then. Here, so you can see this window. This is basically this Spark AR asset library. So here these are certain predefined inbuilt textures, animations, audio files or patch assets that Spark AR Studio provides you. So even if you don't maybe wish to download it from an external source, you can just use it from here itself. Like there are these textures. So if I want to say have a sunset texture in my effect, so I'll just import it freely here. I'll click on import, and right in the asset panel you can see this sunset texture is imported. So these are the properties that a sunset panel has. For now, this is like previewing what the sunset texture looks like. I'll just show you to discuss more about textures and materials. So what are materials? Materials are basically components that add additional details and capabilities to your textures. So I'll import one texture, one image, one PNG image from my system. So I'll just import maybe this one. Yeah. So when I click on BG, or the image that I uploaded, you can see these are the properties that a texture has. So we'll discuss all these properties that you can see on the right panel. So here, this is the file that I have uploaded in the texture. So here it is. Now the types, this is a single texture, right? So I have uploaded only a single image, so it is a single texture. What if I want to maybe upload a series of 10 images? Like I want the backgrounds to change, or I want maybe the user background to be at four different places. Say first is Taj Mahal, the second is maybe a different place. So just an example. So I can use a texture sequence for that. So if I use a texture sequence, what it does is, like, I can import multiple files at the same time. So in the left panel you can just see there are 1 to 4 images that got uploaded here. So this is basically a texture sequence where you can upload a series of images, n number of images, and just use it in your effects. So that is about the texture sequence. We'll move to, okay, where is the other texture? I'll add one more. I just changed this very texture. So I'll explain the properties via single texture only, because yeah, it will be easy to understand. So yeah, I'll just delete this one, a series of images, the texture sequence that I uploaded. So yeah, that is about the texture sequence and texture sequence and a single texture. Yeah. So these are the properties of the image file that I just uploaded. So what are the dimensions, what are the file size, uh, so this is all about it. The color encoding, so by default the color encoding is linear, but other we can have as sRGB color encoding. What it means is, like, a single image file is basically made up of components of colors, red, green, blue, and the fourth component is alpha, that is defines the opacity. So right now if I just click on sRGB, it won't be visible in the preview section. You won't be able to see the difference, but when we'll actually use it maybe as a background and we'll see on simulator, so you will be able to figure out the difference between these two color encoding schemes. So we'll add this in background just a few minutes from now, and then the difference would be quite visible in perspective. So next up we have the compression feature. So compression feature is really nice feature that is offered in the Spark AR Studio itself. So what Facebook says is, like, the standard size for a filter to get published is 4 MB, because that is the ideal size to for users worldwide to actually use your effect. So the download, the browsing time, the time the effect takes to load, it shouldn't be much. So the effect size should be less than 4 MB, or maximum like up to 4 MB. So that is where that is where the compression features comes in. So if I add, say, a image which is say 2 3 MB, and then I want to add further capabilities into the effect, so of course the effect size will increase, right? So I'll just I can what I can do is I can do a manual compression, or I can just select it to none. Right now we have the image which is of 40 kb, so I don't need to compress it, so I'm just keeping it none. You can do it for iOS, Android, and older versions. Like, uh, of course we want our effects to be used by every user, right? Whether it be an iOS user, Android user, an older Android user. So this is what we do when we want to decrease the size of this. Like, we are doing it for this very texture, but yeah, it consequently it just reduces the size of your effect. Next up, sampling is like not something that is very much used. If you are a beginner, we'll talk about the tiling mode maybe. So in the tiling mode right now, since we haven't selected any material, or we haven't added any capabilities, so it is like, you can see a repeat or a mirror here. So what it does is, like, if I added this very texture, so I'll just show you in the preview. So this is the texture, right? So if maybe it covers just 1/4 of the screen, and you want this very image to cover the entire screen without maybe increasing the dimensions or setting it up all on the screen, so what you can do is you can just select the repeat here. So it will be automatically just it will come up 4 times, and it will cover the entire screen, whether you want it to be background or like in front of the user. That is your choice. Like, how you build an effect will just make an effect, and I'll show how that works. So this is about the tiling mode. You can also mirror this very image. Like, if you want to have, this is a certain background that if I just mirror this, then you won't be able to see the difference. But if you use a background and you want to background on any sort of texture, so you can have the mirrored image of that as well. Yeah, so these are all the properties that a texture has. Now I think it's we have covered like mostly what all we have seen on our screen. We have covered the scenes, we have the assets here, we have the properties in the left, in the right panel, the scene and assets the uh, in the left panel, right? Yeah, so now we'll be talking about the objects, like actually what how we can just add objects and build our effects. So if I click on the add objects session here, yeah, so here you can see there are multiple options here. So first up we have the face tracker. So what a face tracker does is, like the name suggests, it tracks the user's face. So whatever component you add on the face tracker, it will move as the user's face moves. So I'll add a face tracker and show you how it works. So if I added a face tracker, if I click on a face tracker, you can just see these arrows that comes up, which shows that it is tracking user's face, but there is no component out here, it's just tracking. So I'll be adding another object as the child of face tracker. So just you can see right here under the face tracker I have a face mesh. So this is the child of face tracker. By default it's showing a checkbox right here, and if I click on face mesh, then you can just see these arrows that come up. So I can move, uh, because it's under the face mesh, it is moving up. This is automatically moving because as the user is moving her face, right? So what you can do is to show you the difference. If I exclude the face tracker and just add a face mesh, so if I maybe just add an object, add a face mesh directly, so you can see it is not the child of face tracker but a face mesh outside as an individual component. So right here, I'll just move it so that we can see the difference. So you can see this face mesh is a static component right here. It is not moving as the user's face moving. So it is not tracking the user's face, right? So this shows the difference, what like how we can distinguish between adding a single component as a child of the other component, or if we add it as a static component. So I'll delete this one for now. I'll just keep a face mesh right here. So we can, what we can do is like this is just, a sample thing. So what we can add is we can add a material to this face mesh. So what I'll be doing is, if say I added if I added a material, so it named this as material 0. I'll just rename this as face mesh, material that we use for the face mesh. So here I added a face mesh, then I used a material. Okay, so I'll rename it as face mesh matte, right? So this is the material that I added. Since I changed the material, so it is like the checkbox thing that comes up by default, it disappeared. So here we have the materials properties right in front of like you can see in the properties panel, the right panel. So what we can do is we can change the color from here if you want to just keep it a single thing. So you can just play around here. You can change, add a face mask of maybe different colors like this, or what you can do is you can add a texture. You can add a texture to it. So if I say add a texture, I have a background texture already here. So let's just add this very texture only. So you could see, right, if I change it to white, and I added this very background texture. So if I click on this texture, this is the texture that I used, right? So I just added in this material, I used this very texture in the face mesh. So these are like interrelated component. What we did was we added a face mesh, we added a material right here in the face mesh, and on the material we used a texture named bg. So whatever it was in the texture, it just took that space of the face mesh. Or what I can do is maybe add a different texture, a new texture. So I can add a new texture, maybe a makeup texture. So this is what I already had, a makeup texture. So right here we used this very material that we associated it with the face mesh, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I am okay, so I have changed this texture from, if I click on bg then it will be this. If I click on the makeup texture, so you can just see, I'll show you. You can see what this makeup texture has are little freckles and an ice shadow. This was a very very basic makeup texture. What you can do is you can build your own you know own textures for face mask. So if say I want to build a face mask which has say a text on top, or maybe a text on forehead, a sticker on cheeks, or maybe something else, like whatever components you want to have in your face mask, right? So how you can do it is you can just visit this very link. Like the Spark AR has its documentation. So here, this is the Spark AR Studio face reference assets. So what we can do here is you can just download the face assets reference, download the face reference assets directly via this link here. And what it has is it has all these files. So if you wanna say, I'll just show you how this one actually appears. So I have this file right here. So this is the face assets file. So what it has is it has a feminine face and a masculine face. So what you can do is you can just visit Photoshop. You can just import this file there, and you can add the very components in the other layer, and you can add whatever you wish like. So right now we just had this thing. So I'm just telling you how you can do it. I had this already, built makeup texture here, so I added it right in the filter. So here it has freckles and eyeshadows. You can add whatever you wish, like. So if say what I am going to do is I am just going to show you how it works with templates as well. So I am going to take another project file which has a background. So if I open a project file with a template which already has a background, so this is what comes up. Like, it has a by default background, you can just see it on my screen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm deleting this very background. I am So you can just see here we have the background material and the user material right here. So I'll add a texture from my local system. I'll add a texture right here. This is a light background texture. What I'm gonna do is I am just going to the materials section here, the background material. So right now there is no texture file that is chosen because the by default file we have deleted. So what we do here is we'll select the light background here. So this is the background that comes up, right? The next component, right now, just 2 minutes back, we added a face mesh with freckles and eyeshadows. So I'll add that one too if I want my effect maybe to have a face mesh as well. So I'll click on add object. I'll Okay, edit the platform. I'll make it only a sharing experience because if say you are adding a face tracker, so while video calling, your face moves accordingly, right? So what you can do is while we are adding a background and a face mesh together, you can just do it via the sharing experience and not include the video calling experience. So I've removed that part and I'll add a face mesh right here. So I'll insert a face mesh. You can see this is a face tracker and a face mesh is added. Now, like we just did, we'll add a material. I'll just add a material in the face mesh. I'll create a new material, name it face mesh mat, right? So when I click on this material, I'll choose a texture. I'll take a new texture, maybe that very texture I had, or you can build it on your own, whatever you wish, like. So right here there is this face mesh that comes up. It is very light, but you can just add very dominant kind of components in the face mask so that it is more visible. But while you'll just test it on your own device, you'll be able to figure that out. Yeah. So this is what I've added. Now we can add a few more components, like, to see how it works. I'll add an object. I'll add a 3D text. So this is a 3D text that I've added. Here you can see the properties again for a 3D text that I've added. So right here, this is the text. I'll just write maybe spark or my first effect, if that is going to be your first effect for, I think, some of you. So we'll just write my first effect here. I'll just place it. You can place it wherever you wish, like. So what you can do is you can just position it via the XYZ coordinates here, or you can use these arrows. I find it pretty easy with these arrows. Like, I can just place it here, right? So what you can do is while you work on this 3D text, you can just add a material here also. So if by default it has material 0 selected, so we can just rename it as well as, I am good just gonna increase it so that you can see what all I have added in the assets or what all I have added in the scene. So here what I can do is this is for my 3D text. So this is a text mat. So the naming conventions are like, it makes it easy for anyone to understand like what materials you are using for which component. So that's why. So I've added a text mat here. So what you can do is you can again just associate maybe a texture with it, or you can just change the color. So if you want to just change the color, you can do that. I'm gonna keep it maybe red. Okay, so I won't be adding a texture, I'm just changing the color right here. So this is it. Now this looks like, maybe what I can add more is if you want to add an audio. So we'll see how we can add an audio to your effect, maybe just a background audio. So we'll go to the add asset section here. So you can see this is the add asset section. There are multiple options right here. What we have done until now is we have used textures and materials here. So I can add a playback controllers. So this is a audio playback controller that I have added. So here, so from here in the properties in the right panel for an audio controller, I can do is I can just import an audio from my computer, or I can just search it from the asset library. I'm gonna take it from the asset library right now. So we'll keep it. Okay, where did it? Just give me a moment. Yeah. So here in the audio, you can just search the asset library. I'm gonna close the other files, I think. Yeah, so here we have the asset library. Okay. Or maybe just import it from our computer if I have any audio files right here. Just search the asset library once again. So from the music and sound section, if I want to, yeah. So I'll import this very. So I have imported this audio here. So what we can do is like we can go directly from here to the asset library and import it, but it wasn't working fine for me. I, for some reason, and so I just imported explicitly from the asset library, and I'll select it here. So this is the audio, this is the mp4 audio that I imported. So I'll select it here. We'll talk about these features once there are just a few more steps that you have to add if you want to have the audio. So I've added an audio, but I think you can hear it. So what there are a few more steps that needs to be followed. So right in the assets panel, you can see there is this audio file that I've added, a playback controller that I've added. Now we'll move to add object section, and we'll add a speaker. So for any audio file to be actually added in your effect and to be audible, you have to get the speaker enabled. So we'll insert a speaker in the scene. So right here in the speaker, you can see the audio is selected to none. So I'll just go to the audio playback controller that I have added here. So I'll click on this. Now again, the question might be that I have added the speaker, I have added the playback controller, I have added the audio. Why isn't the audio audible? So what you have to do, the last step that you have to do is go to this very audio playback controller. So I haven't enabled play. So when I'll just enable play, uh, is the audio audible? Because it is audible to me. If the system audio is maybe not audible, Oscar, if you could give me a heads up on that the audio is audible or not.
Yes, it is, Rupal.
Yeah. So this is when I click on the play button. So this when this simulator works, it is just playing back this very audio, right? So this is just played once, like you can hear, you can, it just played once and it stopped, right? So what I can do is maybe add a loop itself, so it will just play multiple times and it will just continue playing in loop till the user is making a video. So right now I am gonna just disable both these options so that I am audible. So this is how you can add an audio. Now we'll see how to publish this very effect. That is the most important part. Like we have added like these component, the background, a 3D text, audio. So I'll click on just play so that it works. Yeah, so I'll keep it on play. I have removed the loop option so that I'm audible, and we'll move to publishing this effect now. So what you can do is you can just test it without publishing. You can just test it on your device. You can log in via your Facebook, or connect your Facebook and Instagram, and just send it there and preview it, test it on your mobile devices, or you can just preview it in the Spark AR player. But what, like, this is before publishing. You can test it on your device before publishing as well, but we'll see how we can publish this effect. So you can go on to this button here, or on to the bottom right corner of your screen, of my screen. You can see the publish button, so we'll click on publish here. So this comes up. What you can do is you can publish a new effect, or you can update an existing effect. We are publishing a new effect right here, so we'll be clicking on publish new effect. You can record a demo video. So when I just click on demo video, this is right now going to show me the simulator, but since my camera is already in use. But if you'll click on the demo video, you'll have your you'll be appearing using that filter, and you can record a demo video which can be used when on the Spark, when you'll be publishing an effect on Spark AR Hub. You can just upload that demo video there. So right now we aren't recording any demo video. So here you can see the file sizes meets the requirement, the capabilities meet the requirement. So oh, the file size, like we talked about compression and the file size in the earlier in the properties section. So here, if say your filter is more than 4 5 MB, then it won't meet the requirements, and you'll have to compress it to make it work for getting published. So there are two options you can do it. You can either upload, uh, or you can just click on export. So what export does is it exports your project file, and what the upload button here does is, like, it will be uploading this very project file, and it will just take you to the browser window and open Spark AR Hub. So yeah. Okay, so I'll just show you what it comes up if we say export a file. So this is like the home. This is the dashboard of Spark AR Hub that comes up, and if you, these are the effects that shows. These are the all the insights of whatever effects you have made. So you can publish your effect via this publish effect button here. So since we clicked on upload, so it directly opened Spark AR Hub, the next window that comes up when we publish an effect. So we have it here. I'm gonna export this. I'm gonna close it and export this project file too, so that you can just see how it comes up. I am gonna name it uh, maybe demo first or something. Yeah, so I'll just name this file this. Here you can just name the effect demo first. You have to upload your file here. Okay, this is something. Yeah, so this is the demo first project file that we have. What we discussed about capabilities. So there is a segmentation feature. Like when we add a background, what it is doing is it is dividing the user into two layers. So there is a background layer and there is a user layer. So there are certain, you can remove certain what it does, it still can get published, but it may not work on certain devices. So you can just choose what all components you want to add in your effect, so that it is maybe compatible with majority of the devices, so that of course a lot of users can use it. So we'll keep it as it is. So you can publish on platforms, you can publish on multiple platforms, or you can choose specific platforms right here. So if say I want to publish on both Instagram and Facebook, I'll publish both on Instagram and Facebook. And you can select the audience. So if you want to publish your effect publicly, that is to be used by users worldwide, then you can publish it with public audience, or you can select link only. What it does is like the effect that you have built will be used by only the users you share that effect link with, of course. And so I'm gonna keep it public. For if you want to keep your effect public, then the demo video is must. Like when you open Instagram and browse the effects, so you can see there is a demo video that comes up of the developer who has, or the designer who has built it. So that is, we haven't recorded demo video for this very effect, so I'm just gonna keep it link only, but I'm just gonna show you what all you have to add in this very section if you want to publish it publicly. So this is it. Now you can add the categories in which your effects fall, maybe appearances, selfies. This is basically like to increase your reach. You can add keywords to increase the reach, so the when the user maybe searches a background filter or something for a selfie, so if you have added certain keywords, it will help the user just move to your effect. So you can add keywords here. You can upload the demo video, like I told. You can record the demo video from there, save it in mp4 format, and you can just upload this file here, or maybe just test it on your device, record a demo video and upload it here. So you can use the video thumbnail that you have uploaded, or you can just upload the image. So what icon does is this very thumbnail image that comes up with an effect. So you can upload that right here. So if you want, you can just upload any thumbnail image you want. So here you can see, so I've uploaded this very image, so this comes up as thumbnail. So the publication date, you can just if you publish this effect publicly, so it has to be reviewed by the Facebook, the Spark AR team, so that it meets the all the guidelines, all the policies. It hasn't something that is not maybe approved by Facebook. So that is it. Or you can just select the publication date if you wish, like. So these are all the things you need to publish an effect. I'll publish a link only effect since I don't have the demo video, and we are good to go. I'll just publish this effect. It may take a few seconds, and we'll be redirected to the home page where I just shown you the effects section. So this very effect will get published. Just a moment, I guess. It's getting uploaded. Yeah, so after that, I'll just show you what all you require to make a valid submission for the initiative. So you have published an effect successfully from here. So what all you need is these this is basically the insights, like whoever opened your effect, what are the capture count, and all of that stuff comes here. So the two things that you basically need to submit in the form, which we'll be sharing soon. So these are the two things. You'll get the effect ID from here. Just go on to these three dots here. If you can see, this will copy the effect ID on the clipboard, and you can just paste it in the form there. And the other thing is you can go on the share button and copy this very link. So this is your effect link, and right here, this is your effect ID, and this is the owner ID. So these are the things that you would need to make a valid submission for your AR effects in the initiative. So yeah, we have successfully built our AR effect, published it on Spark AR Hub, and seen how what all we need to. You can just get the link via here itself. So you can just take it and test it on Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, that is all from my side. And now I think I can just stop sharing my screen. Yeah. So we are open to questions now, and if you have any questions, just drop it in the comment section. And the effect link has been shared. So the deadline for submission is 12th of December, end of the day. So you can just build effects and submit it till 12th, and get a chance to grab amazing goodies from Facebook. So if there are any doubts, we can take them now.
Thank you, Rupal. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you, Askar.
Guys, if you have any doubts, you can post it on the comment section. Rupal is waiting for your queries. So, Kali, there will be no winners. Everyone who submits an AR effect will get a backpack and a certificate on Spark AR. Rupal, I think there's a question for you. How to build effect that deals with the background?
Okay. How to build an effect that deals with the background. So the effect that we just built had a background. So either you can use the template that I used, but if you start working on a blank project, so what you can do is you can just, it is very simple. You have to use two layers. So the front layer is the user that uses the camera texture, and the background layer is the texture, whatever you want in the background. So these are the two layers that you have to use when you just want to add a background to your filter. I hope I've answered the query. Are there any more questions or anything? Oh, okay. So there is this question that we have, that is there a particular theme? No, I don't think there is a particular theme. It's totally on your creativity and choice. You whatever you want to do. Like you want to add background, maybe you want to add say maybe a Taj Mahal background if you want to visit. That's totally on you what you want to do. It has no theme. It's open innovation. It's on the designer's choice. So whatever text you want to add, whatever background you want to add, or there are a lot of features other than this. Also there are 3D objects, there are a lot more things. So when you just explore a little more, so you'll be able to get a hands on that. Similarity between the Adobe After Effects and Spark AR. So we aren't doing a comparative study here, but yeah, this is basically like Spark AR Studio is a very user-friendly tool that allows you to build AR effects. So you can just edit certain stuff in Adobe Photoshop, and like I said, while we are using a face mesh, you can just take a face mesh object using the Spark AR face library, and you can add the components, and you can just use it as a PNG texture in Spark AR. So yeah. Okay. How do we add how do we create something that, so there is this question that we have, how do we create something that covers the whole screen like a like a black and white filter. So again, this is a concept of layers. So what we did is, in the effect that I built, I used two layers where the user is in the front layer and the background was in the second layer. So if you want to add a black and white filter to the entire user screen, so I'll keep the user in the background layer, and I'll decrease the opacity of the front layer. I'll keep it as the front layer and just give it a texture of black and white. So this way we can add it in front of the user. So that layer will be in front of the user and it will have the black and white filter, or any filter you wish, like. You can submit your there is this question that we have, that can we submit the filter with an old account, or so you just need a Facebook account to get started with Spark AR Hub for publishing your effect. So yeah, you can use it with any of your accounts. Every unique participant and every valid entry will be eligible for goodies. Okay, so like I said, there are like two aspects. If you are a beginner, like I just shown you, you are using the capabilities that are already there in Spark AR, and we are adding certain stuff, 3D objects. We can do all of that, but where coding comes in is like there are few more. Actually, there are a lot more components that there are a lot more capabilities in Spark AR. This is not just this. So if you explore further, there is a patch editor where you can add conditional statements. So if say there are kind of effects when if I tap on the screen, or if I just open my mouth, then that very component gets enabled. So if I say, if I tap on my screen, then the background should come up. So if that is the case, so this is all done using the patch editor. So maybe we can just cover it in the upcoming session, or you can explore. You can always explore Spark AR documentation that we have. We can just share the link. It has documentation of all the you know uh, concepts. I'll just um, for the overview of patch editor and what all like we can do. I can just okay. Oscar, you can just add this link for the patch editor that I shared, and so you can just go through that and see what all you can do. Oscar, you are not audible. Okay. So the goodies will be a certificate from Facebook and a backpack. I hope I've taken all the queries.
Thank you, Rupal. Thank you for answering all the questions.
Thank you so much
And thank you
for having.
everyone for joining the session. So you have time till 12th of December. Submit your AR effects as soon as possible and grab your goodies. Thank you and have a good day.